What important lesson can we learn from here? If you are upon the right path and someone who's dear to you is upon the wrong path, you have the right to tell them what they're calling you towards is absolutely wrong. So he has said, he has challenged his father. He stood up to his father. But now I also want to mention something very important. The etiquettes of standing up to your father, they have to be an Islamic. You have to follow the Islamic etiquette. You can't just stand up to your father and disrespect your father. That's absolutely un-Islamic.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين وإذ قال إبراهيم لأبيه آزر أتتخذ أصناما آلهة إني أراك وقومك في ضلال مبين وكذلك نري إبراهيم ملكوت السماوات والأرض وليكون من الموقنين
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear brothers, what an amazing father to have. What a great role model to have. What a personality to have as a role model for all of us. And this great person that I'm going to talk about this morning is the great prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and his name is Ibrahim. Allahu Akbar. Ibrahim is a great example for all of us. His example is timeless. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds the ummah. He reminds us all, and he reminds the people of Quraysh to begin with, and he reminds everyone who comes after them how great Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. It was said to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, remember, Ya Muhammad. You need to remember. What should I remember, Ya Allah? Remember the time when Ibrahim said to his father, he spoke to his father. His father, Azar. The ulama, they have said Azar, was that the name of Ibrahim's father? Or was that the name of the idol itself? Some of the ulama, they have said the name Azar belongs to Ibrahim's father himself. Some of the ulama, they have said, no, Azar is the name of the idol itself. Some of the ulama, they have said Azar had two names, or Ibrahim's father had two names. One of them was Azar, and the other one was Tarikh, or Tarah. Also, some of the ulama, they have said Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, his father's this name was given to him by the king Namrud, because he used to work for him as a caretaker of the idols. So he gave him this name Azar later on, and so forth. So right now, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. He said to his father, Allah said to the Prophet ﷺ, remember, when Ibrahim said to his father Azar, do you take idols as gods? He questioned his father. He said, are you worshipping God and idols as gods? And then he said to him, it is clear to me that you and your people are entirely misguided. Imagine this young man taking on not only his father, he's also taking on the whole community and the whole residents of that city. And he said to them, all of you are wrong. What important lesson can we learn from here? If you are upon the right path and someone who's dear to you is upon the wrong path, you have the right to tell them that what they are upon, and sometimes what they are calling you upon, what they are calling you towards, is absolutely wrong. So he has said, he has challenged his father and said to him, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. He stood up to his father. But now I also want to mention something very important. The etiquettes of standing up to your father, they have to be you have to follow the Islamic etiquette. You can't just stand up to your father and disrespect your father. That's absolutely un-Islamic. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the dialogue that Ibrahim alayhi salam had with his father. And who's going to remind us in which surah that Prophet Ibrahim had a dialogue with his father? Ya abati, what did he say? وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِنَّهُ كَانَ صِدِّيقًا نَبِيًّا. Hi, Surah Maryam. What did he say? إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ. One of them is لا تعبد الشيطان. Another one is لما تعبد ما لا يسمع ولا يبصر. يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم. Look at the way he addresses his father. My dear father. Okay, why are you worshipping this and that? My dear father, Allah has gave me some knowledge. Why are you worshipping the shaitan? And so forth. Look at the gentleness that Prophet Ibrahim uses. So gentleness is very important. Even if your father is wrong, you do not disrespect him. You have to speak to him in a respectful manner. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, he tells us, this is like a short snippet of the story. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. I see you and your people, all of you are upon misguidance. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us. But before I move on, I want to give you a little kind of like a snippet of the history of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Prophet Ibrahim, I will give you his lineage. We know Ibrahim, his father is called Tarah, or we can say Azar, but we can call him Tarah. Ibrahim, this is the lineage of Prophet Ibrahim. Look at his lineage. Ibrahim ibn Tarah, ibn Nakhur, ibn Saru', ibn Ugu, ibn Faligh, ibn Abir, ibn Shalikh, ibn Arfakhshad, ibn Sam, ibn Nuh. Look at the distance between him and Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. Only look, his father Tarah, grandfather Nakhur, Saru', Ugu, Faligh, Abir, Shalikh, Arfakhshad, Sam, and then Nuh. So the gap between him and Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, only 9 fathers. It was said that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, when was he born? He was born during the time of the king whose name was Namrud. So during the times of Namrud, that's when he was born, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And also, remember, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he was born at that time, what was the length of time between the great flood and the time when Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was born? The ulama, they have said, وَكَانَ بَيْنَ الطُّوفَانِ وَبَيْنَ مَوْلِدِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ 1,200 سَنَةٍ. So the time when Prophet Ibrahim was born and when the great flood has happened, only the gap was 1,200 years. 1,000 and just 200 years. And also, the time between Adam alayhi salam, and when Prophet Ibrahim was born, the gap was 3,000 years. 3,300 years, 3,330 years. The gap between the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Prophet Adam and the time when Prophet Ibrahim was born. Only 3,330 years. That was the gap. So this is what the ulama have mentioned, the Salaf, and the Imam al-Qurtubi rahimahullah ta'ala has mentioned in his tafsir. Also, I want to bring to your attention, Namrud had a dream. The king Namrud had a dream. And he was told that his kingdom was going to be destroyed and taken over by a young boy. So what did Namrud do? Namrud, he has commanded, or he has instructed all the men not to be intimate with their wives. Okay? Or if they're intimate with them, they should not let their sperm go into the female. Meaning that they should actually take out their private part and then release or ejaculate outside of the woman's vagina. So this is what they have. This is what he has told them to do. And what happened was, Prophet Ibrahim's father, one day he slept with his wife and did not do that, and she became pregnant. And when she became pregnant, he got worried that Namrud, and he used to work for him, he got worried that his child, if he's born, he's going to be in trouble, he will be killed and so forth. So he has taken the child and the mother and put them away and hid them until the child was born. When the child was born, the child was also left in a place where the child was there alone, and the mother would sneak in sometimes, breastfeed the child and come out. So Prophet Ibrahim, this was his life at the beginning. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so the story goes like this. His food, how did he used to get something to eat? Or how did he survive? So they said, and rizqu kan at-taraf al-asabi'. So he would kind of like suck his fingers, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would provide food through that. And Prophet Ibrahim was like this for a few years, and then after that, when his father brought him out from the cave where he was in, or where he was hid, what happened was people did not recognize that he was born recently. So they thought he was a young child that existed for a while. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the will of Allah if it happened this way. So then one day, his mother asked him the following, he asked his mother the following question. Look, Ibrahim alayhi salam, from young age, when he was a baby, he asked the mother the following questions. Okay? He said to her, like, who's your Lord? Who is your Lord? And then she said, my Lord is your father. Your father is my Lord. Or he said, who's my Lord? And she said, I'm your Lord. And then who's your Lord? Your father is my Lord. And who's the Lord of my father? Namrud, the king. When she said that, and then he told them, no, you're all wrong. And he said, my Lord is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what happened that time is, she has actually slapped him. And she said, you are the one who's going to destroy the kingdom of Namrud. So she knew that he was going to be that child. And as you can see, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was a special child from young age, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has preserved him. And Allah said, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ رُشْدَهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ وَكُنَّا. Allah has given him that guidance from the beginning. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, how many times was he mentioned in the Quran? He's a central figure in the Quran and personality. Can someone guess how many times do you think Prophet Ibrahim's name was mentioned in the Quran? Can we guess? A good number of times. Have a guess. If you are wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah? Did you say 9 times?
I said 9.
9, 29, about 33, about 47. Okay, mashallah, good. So these are good guesses. Okay, ذكر اسم سيدنا إبراهيم عليه السلام. He was mentioned in 56 verses. Prophet Ibrahim's name was mentioned in 56 verses within the Quran. Those 56 verses where Ibrahim's name was mentioned, the total number of times he was mentioned is 62 times. Prophet Ibrahim's name was mentioned 62 times. And in the surah that he was mentioned in the most, which surah do you think it is? Where do you think his name was mentioned the most? In which surah? An'am. MashaAllah, that's a good try. Surah Ibrahim, that's another good try. Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah, the name Ibrahim was mentioned around 12 times. Surah Al Imran, 6 times. Surah An'am, 4 times. Surah An-Nisa, 3 times, and so forth. So Prophet Ibrahim, the first surah that he was mentioned in is Surah Al-Baqarah at the top. And the last surah he was mentioned in is which surah? Is in Juz' Amma. Surah Al-A'la. Suhufi Ibrahim وموسى. So now you've got an idea. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, how many times he was mentioned in the Quran, which surah was he mentioned in the most, and also the last surah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned the name of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is Surah Al-A'la. So these are statistics and knowledge that I want to share with you. So right now we can see Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he's going to take this very important decision, which is what? To challenge his father and the people that he was part of, and to tell them what they were upon was wrong. What is the purpose of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning this particular story in this surah, Surah Al-An'am? Or why would he mention the story of Prophet Ibrahim altogether? Remember, the Quraysh were descendant of Prophet Ibrahim. They loved Ibrahim alayhi salam a lot. They respected him a lot. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them a story, something that happened in the past between Prophet Ibrahim and his father and his people. So he was reminding the people of Quraysh, this is what your great-great-great-grandfather Ibrahim, this is what he did. And this is who he was. Okay, so now you are against Muhammad, who's one of his sons, a descendant of Prophet Ibrahim, who's calling you to what Ibrahim used to call the people to. Ibrahim, what did he used to call people to? To worship only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at-tawheed. Okay, and today we know people are using the name of Ibrahim, even though they're trying to cooperate with people who are absolutely committing shirk. And Prophet Ibrahim was against shirk. Okay? Prophet Ibrahim was about monotheism, was about tawheed, was about aqidah. Okay? Worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone and nobody else. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and we have also shown Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam the following. And we also showed Ibrahim the wonders of the heavens and the earth. So he would be sure in faith. And then فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. When the night became dark, when the night grew dark upon him, he saw a star and said, this is my Lord. But when it set, he said, I do not love things that set. How the debate is going to take place is going to come up in the next lesson. Don't miss it. Today was just facts and figures regarding about Prophet Ibrahim, and I don't want to keep you here too long. You have to go to work and businesses and attend, mashallah, children, the school run and everything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve you. Tomorrow is Friday. We have no Fajr reflection, but it will be back on as usual on Saturday, inshallah ta'ala, and we will look at the debate that happens between Prophet Ibrahim and his people, inshallah ta'ala, and how cleverly he convinces them, or he tells them that they are upon misguidance. Hayakum Allah wa bayakum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.